Hey YouTube, welcome back to another edition of Broken Big Boy Toys. And on today's episode, I picked up a brand new bike for myself. This is a 99 Yamaha YZF R1. So this is going to be my next project bike / street bike. Oh, it's got a SC Project exhaust, some, rubber, some places, and just some other things I gotta fix. The license plate bracket's upside down. There's plexiglass here. There are neon lights, and I don't run my bikes with neon lights. They're all over the place. Missing a carbon fiber tank thing on the one side. This bike is also painted just like the 50th, 60th anniversary Yamaha R1s. So it's missing a couple decals. It's missing an R1 here. It's missing the Yamaha decals here on both sides. It gets a Yamaha decal here, an R1 decal here, and then a Yamaha across here. So that's the bike. In a previous build, we built our YZF 600R, which was our Thundercat build, and we bought these Yamaha R1 foot pegs for a Gen 1 R1 because on a Cowie, you can swap the foot pegs from a ZX10 onto a Ninja 250 like we did in the 250 build. 636, doesn't matter, Cowies are interchangeable. Well, on the Yamahas, the R1s did not fit on my FZR, did not fit on my 600, but they will fit on a Gen 1 R1 because they're for a Gen 1 R1. So to fix these, Yamaha does a thing where they put the foot pegs on with rivets and not E-clips. So what you have to do is, there's the rivet, and you have to take these two Allen bolts right there out. You have to move the peg to the side and then either take a Dremel or a drill, knock the head off, and then what you can do is you could put a clevis pin inside, cut it to your spec that you want, so either an inch, 2 inches, however much, just to clear your exhaust, and still get a cotta pin in it. Once you put a cotta pin in it, it'll work just fine. So bike also needs a seat cover. The back seat is in mint condition because the guy did have a solo cowl, and the solo cowl did break, but do not fear, I am putting another solo cowl on it, and I'm going to paint match it to the bike, paint match it to make it yellow. So I'm gonna run through the bike completely, make sure it's dialed in, set from top to bottom. These are definitely coming off tonight because I don't like those. Bike's got a gold chain on it. See if we can't clean the gold chain up. It already had a battery tender spot for it. So, pretty cool find. So, yeah.
Throwing out the
bottom rivet.
Bottom rivet. This is not really the way that you're supposed to do it. They used to sell pegs, and you unbolt it from the back. However, I don't think they're for sale anymore. I should be through that already, so. What I'm thinking is, just not big enough.
So I just took the pliers after my dad got done drilling it, and I just moved it back and forth, and it popped right off. So
Now you're gonna bang the pin out.
yep, just gonna try to do this one-handed. Grab my dad over the camera.
There you go.
Just like that. All right, so obviously the bike needs a bolt kit. This just keeps falling out. But my dad has taken some McGuire's fine cut, and all under here, that is not salt. I thought that was salt. That is not salt.
That's paint.
It is road paint. It's on the wheel, on the caliper. Caliper, I don't care as much. But
It's
all down here kind of sucks.
all the
when
way
it's
down.
custom painted.
Got the exhaust. Got everything. We're gonna try to take it off with basically a buff. It looks like I can get it, but not gonna be fun. That's for sure.
All right, so I marked on the cletus pin with the kata pin down where it won't rub the exhaust and it's right up against the bracket. So now all I'm gonna do is hold this in with the vice grip, because obviously it's gonna get hot. I'm gonna take a Dremel with a cutoff wheel and I'm just gonna cut down that right in between that little tiny gap. And then I'm just gonna grind it down with the wheel, one little grinding wheel on the Dremel, and then close it, tin snip it, and rough cut, done. Grinding wheel on the next cut. Finished product. Here's the new foot peg. Got it on. Looks like it's dropping a little low, but better than being broken. I put the both springs in there. I put the old spring, still drop low. Put the new spring, drop low. These don't sit in as deep as the other ones. The other ones would have had more metal down there to sit there, and instead they dropped there. So that's as good as they'll get, being that they don't have enough material.
A little bit. At the end of the first night, got all the paint off of the bottom of the bike here. You can see over here where he ran something over with the tire. Got it all over the bike. Got it all over the front. He's got it all on this side down here. Took the stickers off the wheels. I couldn't stand them. Kind of went over. The tank's gonna have to be painted. He's gonna have to paint it. Much he can do. Peg is a little down on this side. He'll probably replace it with a factory one. I don't know. It's not that bad, but it'll drive him crazy. So, grips coming. What'd you order?
Pro grip.
Grips?
Yeah, pro grip 724s, which look just like all the grips we ride on our bikes.
Right.
Just because those are all the ones we like. So, but I ordered them in yellow. First bike, I think we're gonna have those grips in yellow.
Yep. You ordered the side piece here.
For the side cover, ordered the solo cowl.
Ordered the solo cowl, but that's in black so far, right?
So far, so I'm gonna scuff it and paint it.
When you paint the tank?
Yep.
Okay. What else did you order?
That's it. For right this second.
That's all you ordered? I thought you ordered more stuff.
Nope.
That's it?
Nope.
Oh. This bike's gonna take forever then. One more time with a new project. Just trying to figure out space relations so that we can work on the bike in the garage and keep everything else in here. So we've got the R1, the 996, the 986, the 749, and the ZX10. Plus, I have the walking room that my wife can walk out the garage and not kill us because she uses the front door for the garage. Or the garage is the front door. So, as usual, first night down, he can still work on the bike. I mean, he wants to try to clean the paint off this side. He can lay down here on the side. We can get to the front fender. We can get to the bolts for the windshield. We can pretty much do a lot of stuff while it's sitting in here. And if worst comes to worst, we pull it out, pull the Porsche out, and put it back in the center of the garage. But this way, if it rains or anything, I don't have to worry about the Porsche being outside. And my wife won't get too pissed off at us. So anyway, first night down.
All right, so my dad's inside the house right now. He's doing the front mud guard. I went to our local dealership, which for us is DHY. And I got some Poogie Allen keys for the windshield bolts, because these are all rusty from underneath. So, and then I fixed the key. I got a new key cut for it. So, key was just a tiny bit finicky. where you couldn't get it to hit its last pin. It still doesn't work as easily, but like if you go like that, it won't work. But you click it down, it'll work then. All right, so I got the big light out, and in the middle, I did just a by hand test panel. With the swirl mover, I didn't really see that much of a difference because it is really swirled. But with the plastic polish, that's where you get this really nice clean streak. So, and if you look through it, no, you really don't look through the window, you look over it. It is kind of just hazy. So I'm gonna take some plastic polish from Meguiar's and just a wall pat on a buffer and buff the window up while I replace these bolts. And now that the light's on it, you can see how rusty they actually are. Just something to make the bike look nicer. All right, so I buffed the window up. I buffed this little headlight up just by hand, so then you guys can see the difference. Clean side, swirled side, clean side. Got the bolts on, buffed underneath, take all those little rust stains off the paint. I started to get this little thing out, just, it's the light that's screwing up the, you'll see the scratch. There you go. Started to buff that up. I just gotta take a little bit more stuff to it. And then I cleaned the underneath side. Let me reset the lights back. Clean the other side of the gauge cluster. Took a little bit of plastic polish just to the actual cluster itself. Then you guys can see a tiny bit better out of there. So, and I clean the gauge cluster, clean this screen, this tack.
So basically got all the paint off the fender, pulled it off just to get it here. Looks pretty good. I mean, again, a little bit of an accident for someone to hit paint in the road.
But I went through and just polished up the fork tube, the underneath piece there, the upper tube, same thing on the other side. The bike is going to need fork seals just because the dust seal just cracked and I was seeing a lot of residue on the forks. So definitely going to be done before the season. So I'm going to throw this on, drop the bike down, or leave probably the bike up and then do the wheel really quick. Alright, so I didn't do much filming yesterday because I really didn't do much yesterday. Yesterday I cleaned the chain. You guys can't really see it, but it is gold now. I did some chain wax, chain lube to it. Then I took the bottom fairings off the bike. I dropped them out. I washed the inside of them because they were all greasy. And then I took them downstairs and buffed them with the Meguiar's two-step that we've been using. Now I'm going to just take the side panel off and start buffing the side panels, upper fairing, rear fairing. Okay, so I took off the, basically pretty much all the fairings. The bike's beginning to look naked, and taking them off because I'm buffing every panel. Tank's gonna get painted. I need the rear cowl, take it down and do a camera shot because we have a camera for the water. And I'm gonna be shooting this in Sikkens Auto Wave. I'm not gonna be using their 2.0 because 2.0 has more of like a pop and that's more for like 3 stages. So this is just a solid yellow bike, so I won't need anything else besides just regular Auto Wave, their normal line. But so the guy has neons all over this bike, down here and stuff like that. So they're all over. There's even some over here. And I guess he had them grounded, but someone cut this, and these are just sitting there. So don't really need that. I don't really need this one. So those come off, and now when I sit on the bike or when you even just look in here, you're not gonna just have 2 wires just protruding out at you looking like they're going to arc. If it touches something or ground, more or less. So I don't know why we wouldn't either just pull the wire up or take the fairing off or loosen the bearing, just pull them up. But I don't know, they're off now, it's all that matters. Alright, it's Friday night, so that means tomorrow the solo cowl should be here. And tonight I'm going to try to take this dent thing right out of the tank, and that thing is right here. I'm going to be using the glue pull kit. If you guys saw the Thundercat build, you guys know how to use this or see how we used it. I'm going to use this spring-loaded puller. All I'm going to do is just take the glue gun. I'm going to glue this piece onto here, just like that. I'm going to take this, go like that on the tank, and just pull it until it pulls the dent out. Ding. Should pull it out, but
This is
just see.
not the camera, the plastic thing. Not that. Give me the plastic thing. It might be too big.
It's not too big.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. It's just right. Come on, man. You're talking to a painter.
Yeah, but I ain't talking to someone who knows how to pull it down.
I know how to pull a dent. Relax.
Yeah, I get it. It's close.
Yeah, I know it's close.
It's close. I would probably want a small one.
You don't have a small one.
Come up.
Oh, so maybe.
You gotta get the stuff on it.
I don't know. Get there.
Yeah, with that or scraper. Yeah, it just comes up with that. That's rubbing alcohol. Basically.
Yes.
I was telling YouTube.
I know. Yes.
They didn't know what I was using.
Yes.
What are you doing? Picking boogers here? Come on.
Relax, Rambo.
Let's see if you got it straight. Looks straighter.
I'm trying to figure that one out. I gotta get all the glue out of there to re-glue something if I need to.
Going down to a smaller one?
Yes. Not having much thick yet.
Well, it's almost out.
Yes.
I say you skim coat it.
I say no.
I say you skim coat it.
It's what to skim coat it.
This is gonna be painted anyway.
It's what to skim coat. I want to be PTR guy. I be that guy, PTR guy.
Okay, so the tank's pretty much done. I mean, I can see a hair in there. It certainly doesn't look like we started.
That's where it was.
Yeah, what do you figure? I mean, it's very hard, slight. It's more that way than the other. He may skim coat it. I think he might be able to get away with just sanding it.
I'm gonna try my hardest not to put bodywork in it, but
Now-
we shall see.
As we were standing here, we realized they don't have these bars set the same on either side. He's down up here and he's on top of the fork over there. On top of it, he's wider on that side than he is on this side. Oops, I don't know if I blinded you guys. So he's got the bars lower on one side of the fork than the other. He's also got them in on this side more than the other side. So we gotta actually take a tape measure and figure out where the bars should be. You know, just sit the bike straight and measure it out. I don't know people that do things like this. Kind of goofy, but we'll get it all figured out. So tonight we're done. And what is this, the fourth night you're working on it? Fifth night. So
Fifth or sixth. I bought it on Sunday.
we're on
It's
Sunday and
Friday.
Friday. So it's
fifth or
5.
sixth.
It's 5 days. So it's 5 days, and you didn't work on it on Caitlin's birthday, so you've only worked on it 4 days. So, moving along. We've got a big parts list we just set up. Okay, big part list you did. I could care less what you'd spend on this bike. You know, it is what it is.
What's sweet? I got a mouse in my pocket.
Yeah, you get a mouse in your pocket, and you also have brakes that work.
Now, yes.
In a clutch in it that's better than what's in it now.
Yes. Barnett. Barnett, sponsor me.
Yeah.
Buy all your clutches.
Yeah.
Barnett, sponsor me.
Yeah. Barnett sponsor you. We're going over to stainless steel brake lines.
Stainless steel brake lines.
You didn't get
UV
sinister.
rotors.
You didn't get sinister pads.
No.
Yeah.
I bought one rotor kit that had all brakes in it.
Yeah.
All in one. Because sinister pads are like 50, 60 bucks for this bike.
Yeah.
Although I'm not opposed to spending the $50, $60 when it comes in a kit, you better just buy a kit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to save 60, 70 bucks for something else.
Right.
like a steering dampener or something like that. You know, some goodies.
Oh, we also bought ABS,
ASV levers.
ASV levers. You bought those tonight. What else you buying?
I got a rear set coming.
Got a rear set because we don't like that peg. Remember, because it's down a little bit.
Yep.
We don't like that peg.
That's it.
Yeah. Let's see. What else did you order? We ordered LED flashers.
I ordered rotor bolts, radiator hoses, ASV levers, and a new ignition switch because I don't like the way this one is. It's still giving me troubles. I'm not even screwing around. This is really not working. Now it works.
Right.
I don't want to get stuck somewhere because I broke the key because I get a little too anxious. So.
Right, so what else? We got the under glow. We didn't order that. The tail.
Yeah, that's coming on Sunday.
And then we got the
rotors, Gafford stainless steel brake lines front and rear. I got an LED turn signal flasher. I got turn signal adapter plates for the turn signals that I was given that are flush mounts. Cylinder reservoir is in our house. Grips, cowl, side cover, and the rear set, like I said. I got a Barnett clutch coming for it. And then I might be getting some white LED lights instead of these crummy yellow ones because they're not really crummy, they're just old school. And if I did some nice new white ones, it would just kind of bring the bike into modern day because it kind of stays modern. But
well, anyway, so and next week it should move a lot further along. Tank will be off painted next week. As soon as the cowl comes in, then he can match because he's gonna color match it. What is it called? The
Undertail.
An Undertail. He's gonna paint that black.
That's coming from Hot Bodies, and then I'm also gonna be painting the front radiator triangle and the two side pieces that go up, same color as the bottom. Belly pan was painted. It's just gonna be
What is that?
Matched.
The inside pieces you're talking about. The inside fairing pieces.
Gonna color match those black, so it's all gonna be either black or yellow. Not gonna be this mix.
And then you're gonna repaint the clear on the carbon fiber pieces.
Yes.
Or fake carbon fiber.
Yeah.
New gas cap is coming. New gas cap for the key set. So
I'll re-clear these. This one's nicer than the other one, but just shoot them and re-clear them.
yeah, well, they're like carbon fiber look, but they're not real carbon fiber.
No, it's
Plastic, but it is what it is. It'll look better painted the right way.
Only thing we're missing still is a seat.
Well, we're not missing a seat. It's just
We're missing a seat cover.
yeah, we don't like any of the seat covers that they have,
No.
and I don't feel like selling it.
And this one's not even on there correctly because that's staples are supposed to go in the fabric, not.
No, it's supposed to go all the way down here.
Yeah, and they're supposed to go in the fabric. See the fabric here where the staples are? It's stapled right here.
It's ripped.
So,
whatever.
So it's the next morning. The sunlight, you can't really even see the thing. I'm actually trying to find it, and being that the sunlight's not on this side of the bike, it's really hard to see it. Oh, it's right about here. So it's pretty much gone. I mean, I'm having trouble seeing it this morning. It's right here. So you can barely see it on our camera. There you go, now you can kind of see it. So I might just be able to sand this out. I mean, I can feel it just a tiny bit, so I might have to put the tiniest little bit of polyester or glaze coat in it. But today I'm gonna keep moving forward and take all of these LED strips that this guy's got on this bike here, and then there's some underneath the mud guard. I'm gonna take all of those off today, and he's got all these wires snipped that where they were going to, so I'm gonna pull these zip ties and stuff, take off these wrinkle towels from last night, but just gonna open up the tank and start taking fuel out. So you guys watched my MZR build. You guys remember me using the siphon. How I made this was I went to, I think I got this one at Lowe's, but I put a car antenna on it so it would go straight into the tank because it kept rolling on me and I wouldn't be able to get all of it out. So he's got a decent amount of fuel on this bike. So I mean, it's pretty filled up to the top. You guys can't really see it because it's shadowing, but I know how much really is in there. So I'm gonna start draining this. I'm gonna take the tank off, take the rear tail off, and the bike's gonna be completely naked, minus the fenders coming off. It's a lot better because it's this fuel cell that goes like this, and this is pretty much nothing in the tank. Well, marked there, I didn't even know it was there, but not a big deal. Tank's getting painted anyway. Now all you do with this is you just pull it up, push it back down. So I'm gonna pump this, start getting the fuel. Siphon broke, and I had only the top portion of it with the antenna down to the actual pump portion that was working. Because the other one that shot it was supposed to have this black ring that plugs it into it. Yeah, that I don't know where that went, but it wasn't on there, and it shot out all over me and all over my pants. But the gas tank's empty now. So I'm gonna pull this cover. It should just be one Phillips, and the rest should just be both Velcroed on, like this side. So I'm gonna pull the gas tank, and then that will give me access to all the wires, and then I'll probably pull the tail too to get the rest of the wires. All right, so I'm pretty sure this tank's held on. There's one Allen key up here, which would hold the front of the tank down. You can see it pins up to the tank, and when I shake it, it moves. And back here, you'll pull the Allen key, and you'll make it pivot, and then it'll do the it'll pull it up to get the gas lines out down here. And there's the inline that's gonna get changed, and you can see there's fuel in there, but it doesn't even look like there's any thing in there. So I'm gonna pull the tank, see where that's got to go, because this looks like it's been changed, looks aftermarket. But I'm gonna pull the Allen key first, see the tank pivot up, and then I'll shut off the gas tank. I put this Allen key back in there, just how I said it works. That's how it's supposed to work, just like that. And like I said, the front of the tank's hollow, and then all your gas lines should be back there. So I gotta get on the other side of the bike to look at all this. All right, so the petcock you could actually see from the back of the bike, and it is right here. If I get my hand in there, it's up there in front of the shock. It'd be right up there. So I turned mine off. And that's right there. That's where the petcock is. And make sure it's all the way off. I don't want any fuel spilling out if I don't have to have any spill out. So you lift the tank up. He's got two vent hoses that are completely off. One's hanging there, and the other one is I don't know where. There's your fuel pump right down there, and then he's got it held right there. So all I got to do on this bike is just take out the hose and unplug the sending unit to tell the gas gauge to kick on. Obviously, this is not the right bolt for the gas tank. This is a piece of all thread. Someone cut on one side and left it on the other. It just ran through the tank. That's why it's got two nuts on it. So I am going to get the right bolt for this. So just figured I'd show you guys that. So probably when they took off the other tank, that's what they did. But the tank is ready to come off now. I have it unplugged, the petcock's undone, so I'm just gonna let the tank off the bike now. Inline fuel filter, I really do not know where this goes. It's the same style that the FZR was, so I'll probably order close to the same one. The way he actually ran these LED lights is shocking. He zip tied all of these to the fuel line, kinked the fuel line, because it's kinking it now, then ran it through onto the frame on both sides. So I don't know why we did this, but these are definitely coming out because it's ran and they're cut. And I don't like these. I've said this multiple times, I know, in this video. So I got to take care of all that. I got to figure out where this goes because he actually zip tied the fuel pump, now I'm looking at it, to this bracket, which could have been where this went. So I have to now look at how all that stuff goes. So nice. I just ran down to my local motorcycle place. Got the I got the brake light switch because this one doesn't work. I got the gasket for the clutch because we're putting the Barnett clutch in it. And then I got the there's a little spring on the schematic. It would be number 8, and I'm going to be putting the new spring in it just because it breaks or something. So right now I'm going to start taking off all of these zip ties and taking out all of these LED lights. Because they're there and here and underneath and all over the bike, and I don't want those. And they're disconnected anyway.
Is that part of the...
Yeah, that's the glass. Bike pretty much got sunlight for the most part of the day. Painted the triple tree on the bike, so I took that off. Just the top one. Took that off, painted it. 'Cause you know, you guys saw it. It was all kind of just beat up and paint was missing off of it. On the ends are taken off, so now what I'm gonna do, being that I scuff and shot the triple tree, I'm gonna pull the bike back inside, and then I'm going to shut the door, let the heater kick on, and then I'm gonna start cleaning the glue off of the frame, because the guy's got goo gone everywhere, all over this frame. So, not there, but he's got an ear and stuff like that. So that's the next thing we're gonna do.
Looks good. He painted the triple trees. Looks good. It's gonna have a new ignition, so that won't look like that. Looks good. Now what he's doing is rerunning the battery tender up through the back, so that when you plug it in, you just lift either the seat or the cowl. It's kind of like how I have it on the ZX-10, so it's not hanging on the side of the bike. It should look good.
Alright, so I put all this wiring back together because it wasn't wired right. So he had the starter relay out of place, he had the fuse box out of place, he had all this just kind of laying in there. He didn't have the battery where it should have been. He's got this side posted and the other one top posted. I figured I'd just leave it because this line is really short that goes from the positive to the starter relay, but I'd like to change that. But he had a piece of wood in the back, so I just put a piece of wood to prop the battery up so I could get it like that, and it's not putting stress on the power lead. But other than that, ordered a new fuel filter. I'm gonna get a different breather tube because he has it without the or with this breather instead of the actual tube. So that's where I'm at right now. Day 7 of working on the 99 R1 project. It's been a first full week since I've had the bike, and the first part has finally come in. This is the Undertail mudguard. Undertail is what they called it from Hot Bodies. This takes this integrated tail light and this janky setup that he's got. He's got it trimmed, cut, all this stuff just that is janky, kind of just not right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this one on, then we're gonna paint this one black, same color as this rear fender here. So I bought this kit. This light doesn't work. All it does is just hits the brake lights. This comes with a 2 L brackets for the license plate, and it comes with 2 new integrated tail lights that go in each hole. So we're gonna mock this all up and then go for it. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this rear fender off just so I don't scratch it by dropping something on it, doing something stupid. Then I believe this, whatever he made right here, has to come out. So I'm gonna go get my spotlight so then you guys can all see under here, I can see under here, and we're gonna start ripping this thing down. So this is how he did the inside of this tail light, where the wire is coming out. The wire is right here. After that, he did this, which is like really weird. So instead of using his bolt holes that he made, just putting a nut and a washer on it, he decided to run, this is how it is right now, won't really rattle that much. He decides to use a towel so it doesn't really rattle. I don't really understand it, but this whole piece will move now because it's plexiglass, and then the only thing holding this up and in is these 2 Phillips screws on the fairing. So we're gonna take those off and take this ugly thing out because this is not staying. So I pulled this down. Basically nothing was really holding this in. It's painted, which is, they sell smoked plexiglass. I don't know why you would just buy the smoked if you want smoke. You can clearly see they taped something here, I don't know why. But he only had it held up by 2, and then he just had it jammed in there. And you can actually see that he painted it inside the bike. Okay, better yet, he doesn't have blinkers hooked up. Each yellow wire comes out of each tail light, and that's how the blinkers would work. He has it done with a, you can clearly see right here. Okay, he's got a blue to a blue and red tracer, yellow to red, and then he's got black to black. So I'm just gonna take a tin snip and just go snip, snip, snip to all 3 of these wires, and out with the old and in with the new. Got this old taillight out of the way. I got the rear mud guard off. I can clearly see now what they want me to cut. This is bolted into place. So what they want you to cut is actually how this guy had this. He was gonna cut it. So they want you to cut basically flush to the subframe, and this is just gonna be like your template, like just your glove box, because back here, if you didn't notch the glove box, it would have been perfect. But this is the inside thing here. I wish you kind of didn't do that and you left it here, but I don't know what I'm gonna do about it now. You're gonna keep this, yours will be hopefully more complete than mine. You're gonna keep this section, and then you're just going to, they want you to notch this up. So they want you to take this notch, cut it, and then cut it into here. And I believe just cut it flush with the subframe. Now this is all one subframe on this bike because it's actually welded here and here. There's a weld here, so you can't actually remove these subframes on the Gen 1 R1. Thing I noticed when I took this thing out of the bag is you have to take off both rear foot pegs. So you got to drop the exhaust. You got to drop the left-hand side peg, because your new pegs or your new Undertail, the pegs are going to go through this. So yeah, let me just drop those really quick. So I just got this held up by my hand. This is the way it's supposed to be ran. You got the foot pegs out of the way, and these little notches are where the actual thing gets bolted in. So this one I have in the right spot. This side, obviously I haven't trimmed anything yet, so we're gonna have to basically trim all this out, but that is the way it's supposed to be held in. And probably from the top you'll be able to see exactly up here. That will complete my mud guard for me, so I'll be okay with that. But basically, doesn't look like there's too much cutting to really be done to make this super in there. But I'm gonna reread the directions and see how this goes in. But for now, that's basically a rough mock-up of how it should go. Alright, so now I reread the directions. I am perfectly comfortable cutting this rear undertail, mud guard, glove box, whatever you want to call it. Basically, how this is going to go is this is completely bolted in. I'm going to put tape on my frame, and subframe, and I'm going to cut this thing completely flush, and then I am going to have to tip it up. So I'm just going to tip it here, and then zip it down on one side, zip it down the other, and then I'm going to take just some grinding disc, similar to how I did the rear peg, and I'm just gonna grind it down flush the way I like it. And no, I'm not gonna have any of these really hard edges where you can clearly see how I did it. So that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start to cut, and then I'll come back on things pretty much all the way cut. You're getting plastic everywhere. Only one side is cut, so rough cut. Tried to trim it best I could for the first side, but I'll go back, make sure all of this. You go with a file or really anything, you just want to get all of these little things off. Now I trimmed it up just a tiny bit, but all up here is all this last guy. So I mean, you can see the way he notched it over here. Looks like crap, but I'm gonna see once I get it bolted in how this actually mocks up, and if I take this portion off and tip it to the subframe, what it would look like. He even cut it here. So what I did over here, he already broke it. So what I did really didn't hurt it by any means by just coming up and tipping it this way. I know the kit doesn't say that, but it already ripped anyway. So I'm gonna do the other side, finish it, and then see how it turns out. Cutting the mud guard all up, or undertail, whatever you want to call it. So I got it just the way I want it, just like that. It's a little crooked, but I was doing it actually on the bike, so it's kind of hard to do that, but this is the way it's supposed to look, just like that. And then you tip up these. I might tip them up a little more, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the fairing off, And if you look, he's got this thing riveted in there. That's a custom plate he made. I don't know why. I would assume there's something that goes back here in these two holes, and it was probably a bracket, but he said, nah, I'm all right, and just made that, because that's definitely made. But oh well, for my bike, I gotta drill out these two rivets. And then I gotta take out these two Allen heads on the side of the bike. Unriveted has a bike and completely sitting by itself. This is how it's really supposed to go, just like this. So actually one of these sides I had in a little better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it perfectly pushed in. I'm gonna take a magic marker and just go dip, dip, dip. And then I'm going to take an 1/8" drill bit and just drill the 6 holes that I need to. And then I'll lay just a tab in here and we'll just half mark it up, put it back on the bike, make sure I got it all trimmed. And then this will get taken to paint, which is by me. The first side bolted in, and it's the way I got it to fit. Now when you guys go to do this, it'll be more like this and have a big huge gap and just not want to go underneath there. So what I actually did was I went like this and held it, and then took the magic marker, just went like this. So that's how I was doing it. As you can see, all 3 of my holes are lined up versus not lined up. So, and then it's just held in like that. So I'm gonna go and drill this. And then I went up to a 5/32 for what I'm running, but I just start with an 1/8" drill bit. So let me just uninstall this, drill it, and then reinstall it. Here's the piece all installed. For the most part, the last thing I'm gonna have to do is drill in the license plate, but they say to put that in any place. So this is what it looks like. The way it fits inside, fits pretty good. Kind of just like a stock light back here, being that I didn't have one, it looks a lot better. And this will really complete the underneath. So I'm gonna shoot this one black and not body color, because I don't know, I feel like it's kind of cheesy to do it body color because it's a yellow bike. It would just kind of look weird. If I do it black and match the rear tire fender, I should make it almost look like it's stock, just a little glossier. So that's the way I'm looking at it. So I'm gonna take this off. I gotta remount everything back on the bike and then see where I'm gonna put the plate. So I ordered the correct seat bracket to this because that's not the way it's gonna go in. And if need be, or I will ever have a passenger on this bike, this probably won't hold up. So put the original bracket back on it, have the thing bolted back in, have the rear mudguard back on. I just threw in the tail lights just to see what it kind of looked like. So everything clears. Exhaust would go. Just clean it, make sure I don't scratch it too bad. Exhaust would just go like that, and then these will go up here like this. So they fit. Everything fits, so time to disassemble it for paint. All right, so I painted this piece last night, and I painted it down at my shop, so it came out pretty good. Not pretty good, I mean, it looks great. Black and yellow, like I thought, looked actually a lot better than I imagined it to. And then I actually painted the inside too, cleared and all, so then it's really kind of seamless from the two. So, and then I also painted the lowers and the triangle. Okay, so I finally got the ignition in for the R1, and the Chinese one comes with 2 pins, and the stock one only comes with 1. So I have the fun job of needing this connector because this one isn't big enough, and swapping each pin over. And yeah, I think I'm gonna have probably fun doing the bottom, but it looks like they're the same. Yeah, it looks like they're the same, so I should be okay in just swapping over the head, but we'll see how this goes. All right, so I got a lot more parts today. I got the rear set in, I got the fuel filter in, I got the new LED lights in, I got the wheel bearing in, and there, I think there's one other thing, I'm not sure what else I got in, but I'm putting these LED lights in, and just for comparison, here's the old HID or halogen, whatever these were. I forget what they're called when they're yellow like that. Versus the new LEDs. And they do work high beam and low beam. The only thing is that I'm noticing is when this one turns on, I do have the fuel tank off because I already took it down to start to paint it. Being that I painted the other two things, is it does flicker quite a bit when the fuel pump is priming. Now I think that's just because I don't know, it might just be drawing too much power, but I like them better because it just, I don't know, it looks better in my opinion. So, and they're pretty damn bright, so we'll see once I get the other one in. Now how you do this is obviously you shut the bike off, you unplug this one, and this guy has this one in the wrong spot. So this is right, but this has to go in this slot. So when I get this black one in, I'll show you guys how it goes. And these have a fan too to keep them cool. These are supposedly 6,000 lumen light. Highly doubt it, but maybe they are, maybe they're not. They're just white, and I like white lights instead of yellow because it just makes you see a little better at night. And why not? They were cheap. It's definitely not in right at all because it sprung and hit my finger. So how this goes is you can see it's like a, you can't see because my big fat finger's in the way. It's like a triangle. There's two on the bottom, one on the top, and that's how it goes. So it should go in there like this. Just have to pop it in there. Quick disconnect screwdriver there. You have to pop it in there like this, and then I'll get it all set up so you guys can see how it goes back. Okay, so here they are. They're in. If you're silent enough, you can hear those fans running. But with the bike on, there's no way you're gonna hear those. They are really bright, like very bright for a motorcycle, so that's a good thing. So I do like them. The only thing is I'm going to buy new ones just so then I don't have to cut my original ones, or buy extra ones in case I want to go back. When you throw the plug in, not only is it really fat to get the thing in, because obviously it plugs in, you'd have to basically cut like a ream out of this for the big bulb now to make it have dust covers because it doesn't fit over it. I mean, you got a decent amount of gap unless you're interfering with the fans by putting it like that. So I gotta make up my mind. I'm gonna go look to see how much these are, and then we'll make up our mind that way. I'm not sure what this code is. I'm sure the dash is trying to tell me that the tank is undone, because as soon as I undid the sending unit, it's been throwing this code. So I don't know, but yeah, I got the headlights installed. And the other thing that should have came is to get rid of this keto janky gas tank thing with all thread. I actually bought one that's supposed to be on the bike, like one that wasn't all drilled out. So that's probably the next thing I'll do. Alright, I decided to pull out the rear set next, which is only reason really why I'm changing this is not because it's broken or bent or anything like that. I replaced the foot peg with eBay foot pegs, and it doesn't sit right because they're not cut correctly for the bike. They should sit about here, and they just kick down. And if you look from up top, it's like this, and it's supposed to be like this, so like your foot would sit weird. It doesn't feel nice on my foot, and I'm planning on riding this bike, so yeah, that's a no for me. So I went out and bought a rear set. This is off a 2001. Now 98, 99 have this style, and then 2000, 2001, and I believe 02, maybe even 03 have this style, which it has the holes. Now I wasn't just gonna go buy the other side, I was gonna change it because then it would look the same as the other side. So it has the foot brake already, it's got rear foot peg, it's got a new switch, but all my stuff I know is good because I know the old taillight works, so I'm just gonna swap most of this stuff over to this one when I go to do it. And then same with the Brembo. The only thing that takes the longest with this is there's a cotta pin back here, so I gotta pull the cotta pin and do it that way. obviously I have to switch the back plate, but that's just 2 Allens and swapping this one to that one. So all right, I'm going to actually change the fuel pump next, because pulling this tank thing out of the box, it's like the same thing as like what I have, but it's a shorter bolt. And I'm not sure if I want to use this one or just send it back, because it's really no different, and just get the bolt. But at the same time, this would be better, so I might just shoot this black tonight and then put it on the bike tomorrow when it's dry. But right now I'm going to do the fuel filter. Now I did the same brand one to the FZR. These are cheap. These were $7. It's $7 for my FZR. It was $7 for this bike. Now this bike, they were on it like $26 for like any brand, and I couldn't find the brand I put on. So what I ended up doing was taking the part number off of Partzilla, and I decided to just put that into eBay, and I got this one up, which is only $7, and I could get it here in like less than 2 days. So that's what I ended up doing. So how this works, obviously simple. You go your flow direction, which would be coming out of the tank, so it would be coming this way into the fuel pump. So basically loosen these 2 regular screwdrivers. I would do one at each time, so I'd take this one, put it to this one, and then go to this one. But these are cheap things you change just to keep the bike on the road and more beneficial to yourself. So I'm gonna do it right now. With the old, this was an NTB, and then with the new, looks a lot better, works a lot better, because this one is completely black. That's been through at least a couple thousand miles at least. But it's just better just to replace these things when you're here. Same with like plugs, stuff like that. Now I still need the it's supposed to get a rubber gasket, and it's supposed to sit better. So he might have shortened up the line or something. I'm not sure. I think it actually sits on the other side, but if I wasn't filming my feet. But anyway, that's just some of the stuff. Time to stop stalling and actually pulling the cotta pin and getting this rear set done.
So you decided to change the breather filter to a breather line back the way it's supposed to be?
Yes.
And now what are you doing over here?
Still putting the rear set together. I had them run out and get different bolts from 99 to 98 to 99. We'll have M8 bolts for the Brembo actuator, and for 2000.
Master cylinder? What the hell's an actuator?
This is the master cylinder. That's what Yami calls their master cylinder. This isn't their master cylinder.
Okay.
So, I don't know what this is. It says Brembo on it. So
Master cylinder.
not a master cylinder.
Slave cylinder? Or
It could probably be.
it's not a slave, it's a friggin' master cylinder on a friggin' rear.
I don't know.
That sounded like that hurt.
Not really.
It sounded like that hurt.
Not really.
Have they
Seen the
seen?
seal?
Have they seen the
The tail pin?
the tail up on it yet or no?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
You haven't. I haven't.
I haven't seen it. Have to watch the video.
We're gonna get them out. Ah. Can't find the size. That's not good. Alright, so my dad just got done wiring the entire tail section with the license plate. I'll turn it on. You can see the license plate light, tail light.
You do that side.
I know.
Blinker works. You know, blinker hooked up on the front.
I had to get stock amber lights to run this back LED. So I took the one off the 600 from the rear when I changed it to an integrated. So I just bought stock aftermarket ones. So looks good. I painted it. My dad wired it. I cut it. And then I put on the license plate bracket. Same one that we used on the Can-Am. So I modified that too. So I'm gonna have to take that down and paint it. So I'll paint it at the same time I paint this gas tank bracket, because I haven't done that yet. So we started messing with the solo cowl, and so you can see it wiggles with this one. I'm gonna pop this one off, and then have my dad put on the next one. Oops. So I actually melted it and bent it up,
This is the old one that was cracked.
You gotta go like, you actually have to put it on the back subframe. Go like that. Now it won't move at all, it's on the bike. Now, it won't release. Actually, it did release that time with the key. So, all you do is just go like that, and it's stuck on there, and you pull your thing out, and you're good.
So we're going to try to modify the new one, see if we can't make it do the same as that one.
Yep.
So, we'll see in a second.
Alright, so got the seat to latch down. This is the new one, and it does wiggle in the back, a little bit in the front, but that's how most solo cowls are. Comes right up, pull it out. So this one's a little like harder to keep it in place as I melted it, but done. That's how I did it. It's a tiny bit hard to get lined up. Once you get lined up, just hit it down and you're good.
I think it's right. I think it's, well, it's definitely better than it was. That's for sure.
Fits better than even Yamaha's one, because Yamaha ones do the same thing. So this is with the other back. With the riveted plate, it was super hard to get it in. I probably could have just adjusted the latch, but who wants to get a riveted plate when you can have it like this?
Yeah, this is all correct. So.
Alright, so I'm working on the rear caliper on the R1, because this guy painted it and I got all my gaffer stainless steel lines in. So I'm disassembling this. He said it was an aftermarket. I do believe this was at one time a Yamaha one, because Yamaha's would have been blue on the inside, just like that in this piston. So I'm going to actually paint these black. They should have been gray, but I'm going to paint them black. And then I'm going to do a gold insert here like the newer R1 would have been, instead of a blue, because I can't get a blue that matches that. So right now I'm banging out the set pins, guide pins, whatever you want to call it. So there's one. You have these clips. They're right here. They go into the guide pin, set pin. And I only have one left on this one. So that one is right there. So I'm going to pull that last one out. And then I'll be able to pull the brakes out of it. And then I'll be able to start taking off all this crappy paint. Alright, so I took a wire brush to the caliper, and I have it ready to be shot with this caliper paint. And like I said, it was going to be satin black with a gloss, or with a gold insert for the piston. When I started wire brushing them and chipping around the paint, I did see that it was a stock caliper. I'm not sure if I said that, and if I did, oh well. But I'm going to get right to shooting it with the caliper paint. Alright, so I got the caliper all painted. That's definitely a satin black, which is cool. Should look good on the bike. Once I do the gold, ordered the gold paint because I can't get it in stores, so that should be here by Monday. So I'll have the rest of the calipers all shot by Monday with the gold insert, so they'll be done by Tuesday. Shot the license plate bracket because I did cut it over here, so that's done, out of my way. Back calipers done paint wise. Now time to move on to the fronts. Tomorrow when I go home from work, I'll take those down and off and then get them all done. So that's where I'm stopping for tonight. So pulled the front calipers off the bike tonight, because tonight I'm going to shoot the front calipers both at the same time. Like I said, I think I ordered the paint that is the gold, but it's not going to be here. It said till Monday, but I might be getting it tomorrow. So that would be good, because then I could finish off the calipers and possibly bleed them this weekend. But definitely doing the rotors this weekend. So I'm going to take apart these. This only has one side pin, guide pin. I still really don't know what it's called off of this. But only got one on the fronts. These are 4 pistons. The other one was 2 piston. So yeah, we're gonna, these don't need to be wire brushed, so all I'm gonna do is just red scuff them and shoot them. I really don't think they should be wire brushed, being that these are stock. They just really kind of need to be cleaned, which is okay. I can do that. So yeah, let me jump ahead and get our brake fluid out and jump right into this one. Well, these, more or less. Got this little cap off and found what looks to be like a spider web. I don't believe, yeah, it's just a spider web. But, yeah, something got in there. The bleeder, the line screw is already off on both of them. Now I'm gonna blow some compressed air, make sure all the pistons are moving as they should and they're not frozen, because either one of these calipers up front was frozen or the wheel bearing's bad. I have a wheel bearing and I have a compressed air to tell you if the pistons are locked up a little bit or not. So without further ado, let me check that. But I got all the brake pads out of the bike, brake pads, bleeder screws, and that set pin. All right, both of these are prepped. Now I'm just gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna rinse them off with just like soapy water. Not like actually putting them underneath the water, because I really don't want water inside the calipers. That can't possibly be good for them. I'm just gonna put it on a rag and just wipe them down. Mask up the two piston covers, and then mask up the inner pistons, and then hang them and shoot them. I got both calipers masked up. I'm ready to paint. Just gotta move a couple things down here and then turn on the fan, open the windows, and blow all the stuff out, and then move on to the wheels. I'm painting the calipers, so I'm letting my basement air out. I'm gonna go and try to play with this overflow bottle, because it's cracked down here, and brought home my butane torch. So this, I have a soldering iron tip. I'm gonna use some white zip ties, and I'm just gonna try to remelt some plastic zip ties back in there and to restructure it and not have to buy a new wash bottle or overflow bottle. All right, so last night I got done doing the bottle and my torch broke, so I have to get a new one. I still haven't gotten it yet, but I was going to start to do the wheels. Well, I figured out it wasn't a wheel bearing because the wheel rolls fine. Took out the set Allen key. These don't normally need to come all the way out, but I took it all the way out. So you actually need a special tool, which is a tool that looks like this, and Bike Master makes it, and it's to take out these big ones. Now on an R1, it's a 19, and on the back of the 19 though, it's got a 3/8 drive for like a ratchet. So you put this one in, and then you actually take your ratchets, you get the same size as down here, and you put the ratchet on and you spin it out. So that's how that tool works. I'm gonna do this really quick and then take my remote. I got the axle and the wheel off, so now I'm gonna start taking the rotors off, and I already started to shoot the calipers with the gold. Doesn't matter where those bolts are going because I have all brand new ones.
You taking off both sides so you clean the wheel?
I think so, yeah. Just like that, rotors are off. So, did a little test spot here with the new mini buffer. Made it like shiny.
That's right.
Gonna keep it going here. The next spoke.
Just star pattern though. 13 pounds. Still have it set to 13 pounds?
Should be. Yep.
13 foot-pounds. Didn't go. So it looks like it's all on.
Yes.
So let's go put the wheel back on. Looks good.
Lined up the markings on the rotor too. Just why not?
Are they in the same spot?
They're in the same spot.
This one's down here.
This
Where's
one's down
yours?
here.
It's the same spot.
Yeah, it's in the same spot. Why'd you do that?
Alright, you starting to do the brake lines?
Yes. Need brakes. Stop big bike.
That's the bracket that holds the brake lines on?
So I believe.
Can you get to it or not?
Barely. Can't get the tool lined up in that. I don't think. Took a full master cylinders in my neck. Finished the front lines out of the bike. This is how it actually goes in the bike. There are 2 Allen keys, 5s on the fork, and then there's another Allen 5 over here. And this is how it literally sits on the bike. It comes here, wraps down underneath the fairing stay. This is about where the fairing stay is, and then drops straight down through the, I guess the bottom fork shield, and then right side, left side. That's how it lays on the bike.
It's so much better when you just get to watch. You don't have to do anything. You just tell someone how to do it. This is almost as fun as making you change the brake plate in the Corvette. That was kind of fun too. I wouldn't do it super tight yet, Greg, because you got to make sure
Trying to get it in.
if it lines up down on the bottom. You get the bolt started, I would stop until you get the.
Yeah, I gotta make sure it's catching.
And make sure it's catching. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You can't tell if it's catching already.
It's too tiny of a bolt.
Too tiny of a bolt. Kind of how you deal with every girl you ever dated. Too tiny of a bolt.
That's too tiny of a ball, not a bolt.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's too tiny of a bolt. You're such an idiot.
You're a dick track all we had to thought you. Oh, we thought
You ride an R1. Show them what the rotors or the calipers are on. Calipers are on.
Rotors are on.
Rotors are on.
Took
Steel
these,
brake lines on.
Took these factory stock reflectors off.
Yeah, hold them up a minute. I want to see how bad they look.
That's how they look.
Yeah, to me, I just
Stock
think
bike,
that's,
modified bike.
Yeah,
Stock
just-
bike, modified bike.
I think
You
it
want a
looks,
modified bike.
they look better without it.
Alright, so this morning we're going to start on actually bleeding the front brakes so I can move the bike and actually be able to stop it without having an issue. So stainless steel brake lines, we're moving over to 5.1. So the first thing I'm going to do, take off the screw so I can go in and out with the cap. It's over there. And takes paper towel and get all the 4-point or whatever someone else had in the bike and go do it.
What's that on the bike?
Brake fluid. So I stopped it there.
I mean, it's pretty good.
The other brake would grab around like here,
Yeah.
and this one, you can't even get it there.
Yeah. You have brake clean up here?
Yeah, I might have a little bit in here. I don't need this line either, do I? This
No.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Next, we're gonna be doing this. Gonna change that, change this brake line, change that rotor.
Why I did that?
Take this second rotor off.
Yes. I need,
Okay.
I need those tools.
What were they? 13 pounds? 17 pounds?
I believe they were 13 pounds. I don't remember.
Why is that doing that?
I don't know.
Is it hitting the,
Ooh.
what's that?
I don't know. Me's just dumb and has the brake line there.
Oh.
I thought it was it.
Running out of time. You only got an hour left in this.
Okay.
You want to show it?
So what?
The piece?
No. Not until I get it. Alright, so I got the rest of the bike painted finally. On camera it looks a little off, but in person it's spot on. So that's just the camera making this lighter than this, but it's really not. In person it matches really well. So solo cow's painted. I re-cleared all the carbon fiber pieces, the ones that go on the tank and the ones that go up here. And then I realized the other day this is missing this tank dampener. So I ordered one off eBay, actually two, so I'm just gonna place them both at the same time. Gonna buff the frame up right here, and we're gonna stick the tank back on the bike. These tank dampeners are on. This is the new one that was on the bike. I just was looking at the bike and was like, that's missing something, and I don't know what goes there. I bought that because that's what was supposed to be there. Next step, I'm gonna build the tank, which is
Gas tank.
gas cap, and then the bracket I got to put back on the tank, but I'm going to metal polish that before I put it on the tank because it's got a little bit of rust stain in it.
You showing that we got the blinkers working?
No, I did not, but they're on the blinkers upstairs.
Yeah, I know, the back one works.
Yeah, we got the
So we got the LED blinkers. So the one
flasher.
the flasher that we got off of eBay didn't work. So we got another LED flasher that goes from 0 resistance or amps to 10, and that was able to make it so that it'll work with the LEDs. So we don't need incandescents in the front now, and we didn't need resistors. So that's good.
Which is good because LEDs are always better.
You what?
I want the bike to run, I should probably put the petcock on, right? Instead of leaving it off, we'll be like, what's going on?
That would help.
The lead down is on, because the sideways is off, down should be on. Flow, that makes sense.
Well, it looks a lot better than the scratches that were in the tank and
Dang,
all that other stuff. Well, I mean,
chips, the blown off paint.
yeah, it looks better. Looks good.
Hey, a lot of man hours.
Well, it would help if there was a man working on it.
Call me not a man?
Not a man.
Yeah, okay.
Young man, maybe a little boy.
Yeah, okay. I'm your dreams, bud.
Oh, I know. 19, almost 20. You're a man. Forgot.
Takes balls of skills to ride an R1.
So, yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey, give me that one. Wow. I re-cleared the carbon fiber pieces because they were
The
obviously
fake carbon fiber pieces. The plastic pieces.
Listen,
The fake one, not like the carbon fiber pieces.
listen,
Fake carbon fiber. Plastic.
listen.
Plastic.
They don't make them, otherwise I would have them.
Plastic.
So the underneath on this one, because this was my original, was not gloss, and when I got the one from Lithuania, it was gloss. So they're all gloss and done in the same clear as the tank. So no more of your leg rubbing it off.
Your leg, not
My
my
leg.
Yeah,
It's my leg because it's my butt.
looks good.
So go in like that, and that's how it should look.
Yeah, it looks good.
But these aren't going to be going on for a while because they're on back order. The Velcros to my gas tank, they're going to be on back order until the end of March. So you guys aren't going to see this on the bike until probably April.
Maybe.
Because it might be on back order till March, but you know they're not going to be shipped to the dealer until then.
Maybe.
Alright.
Alright. Now what are you doing?
But do you want it? Making sure the bike's still runs?
I wouldn't do that.
I'm doing that.
I wouldn't do that tonight.
Why? Why? You think I'm afraid of our neighbors? So I'm not.
No, I wouldn't do it tonight. No.
All right, so I swapped out the brake master cylinder line. This was the old one, really tiny. Here's the stock OEM size. It's really hard to see in there just because it's dark, but it is longer, and it's bolted in the right spot now. So, and that is done. I'm going to swap the bike around, and then I'm going to dump the antifreeze out of it because the rad hoses came in, and I'm going to drop the oil in the bike because the clutch is in and has been in. Tomorrow we're going to do the clutch. Tonight I'm going to paint the side cover and the radiator, and then do the clutch tomorrow, do the radiator on Sunday, put the whole bike back together, and send it off to get fork seals. So swap the bike around. Now I'm going to clean the washer bottle, which I'm gonna go to the store and get some kitty litter, and then we're gonna use some bleach. We're gonna drop the oil on the bike because I gotta do the clutch tomorrow. So I'm gonna drop the oil, go to the store, get some kitty litter. Then we're also gonna drop the radiator fluid, and we're gonna paint the radiator fluid, the clutch cover, the little clutch cover, and then we'll start cleaning the other bottles. And then when this is painted, it's ready just to go right back in. And then it's ready to do the rad hoses. And then we'll probably do spark plugs to the bike this weekend, being that when you have a radiator off on a Yamaha, your head's right there, and then these are the spark plugs. My hands are literally on them, so you could probably get a wrench in. Probably can't get a wrench in there because they're probably down in there, not like a motocross bike. But we'll figure it out. I'll do them, and then we'll be set. Out of the bike, it's starting to drain already. You guys can't really see it. It's really not that dirty. I mean, it's dirty, don't get me wrong. It smells a little bit, but out of the bike, got a new crush ring. Gonna put all that in after I go get my kitty litter, but I figured I'd just let the oil drain out of the bike. And we're gonna change the oil filter too. That's got a K&N, it's gonna get a Yami because really what should be in the bike. So I just got back from the store, and I was gonna replace the crush washer and take off the oil filter. I'm waiting for my dinner, and this string is not like yarn. This is Teflon. The guy put in the threads, so I had now cleaned out all the threads, and gonna put the new crush washer on, rethread the drain plug back up in there. Should be a lot easier than taking it out and putting it in like the last guy did, because there's not gonna be Teflon stuck literally in the threads. So I'm gonna go put that up on the bike, and I actually couldn't even get the crush washer off of it because of how much Teflon he had up at the top. I don't know, you don't need to Teflon your drain plug when it goes in, trust me. It's easy enough just to put it in with the real crush washer and replace the old crush washer. All right, so I got a little oil on my finger. Normally what I do with these is I just spread my finger around just like that around the gasket just to lube it. So this is lubed. I'm gonna screw it into the motor, and then I'm gonna torque down the drain plug, and then this just gets spun on hand tight, and then I'm gonna pull off the cover, scuff, shoot that tonight, so then it's dry by the morning. So I took the front fairing off the bike. I'm gonna take the radiator out to shoot it. So just gonna basically drop this rad hose, unclip this one. There should be, this just pulls out. There should be a bolt here, and then I think there were 2 bolts over here maybe. But just basically unbolt the radiator, paint it, put it back on the bike, and then we'll do the radiator hoses tomorrow. But this gasket for this cover, we have the one for the clutch already. Bought engine paint for the radiator because I was running out of it. But we're gonna paint the jug on this side and the jug on this side. If we can get to, probably not this side because I can't get to it, but we are gonna paint the stator cover because I did buy the gasket for that one too, because it is a little scratched underneath here. And then, yeah, so I'm gonna pull the rest of these radiator hoses. There's one more over here. We'll drop the radiator out, and yeah, paint that, and then keep going with the clutch.
Can you loosen the radiator and pull it forward?
Good, I just didn't want to do that. I want to get these lines off first. Pull them to the side so they're all on the same spot.
You have all the other hoses off?
Yep.
How many are there?
5.
Is that the hardest one to get?
Yeah, because it's against the wall. Now I think you guys can see here a little easier. I put one of these 2 bulb socket light bulb adapters inside the light bulb socket. I am not an electrician, but I do know how that stuff works. So just allows you to have 2 bulbs. Kind of cool if you have a dim garage like ours. Not so dim anymore. You can actually see what I'm doing now. this was hanging me up, and this goes straight into this little T-bracket that's over here. It's in like the middle of the frame. So everything else is there. I had to re-drain the radiator again because there was still some fluid left, and when it fell down, there was a 10 mil bolt over here. When it fell, radiator fell and a bunch of coolant came out. So now I'm done with that. I'm gonna plop just that one bolt back in here so I don't lose it. Now that also dropped your horn and everything else. So now I'm going, this side should just release sideways, and then I'll pull this out, and then the radiator should come out. Radiator out of the bike. Just some really just wear and tear. I mean, that's just grease. Just from, you know, I mean, it's up front. Gets beat down with rocks. So ground goes here. There's a bolt connector for this lower thermostat, and then this is the actual thermostat that plugs into it. So it's got a switch. It's probably for your digital thermometer, so it tells the bike digitally how much it's at. That's probably what this is. This is your ground, and this is your thermostat. Back here, gonna do the same thing I did on my FZR. Clean the fan off completely, paint the fan bracket, paint the radiator. We'll tape off this foam piece, clean all the bolts like we've been doing on this build. Take the grommets out, make sure they don't get paint on them. Paint it for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're gonna put this all back together, and it should look nice and new, just like my FZR one looked. But it looks really weird without the radiator in it. But to show you how this all is now, they have this like splitter looking thing right here, and I don't know what this does, is why I call it a splitter. But here's your vet hose, here's an actual rad hose. This looks like the water pump. It might not be the water pump. There's another one here, bigger, thinner one here, another thinner one over here. This is your biggest one right here, and then that's pretty much it. So I was wondering why all of them were that small. That's why. Get to the headers now. Very easily to change out the oil pan because the drain plug was stripped. Had to buy a used one. Got one. It's on its way. Got the gasket for that. Got the copper gaskets for inside the headers. These are just stock headers, it looks like, because stock headers have a little wire that comes up, and I guess it's for their X-up system, because this bike should have had X-up, just like the older FZRs, and it basically opens a valve and or a baffle when you go to full throttle, and it'll give you more exhaust. So these are stock headers with just a eBay universal SC Projects slip-on, and we're gonna paint the side of the block like I said before. Alright, so I got the radiator, like I showed you guys, out of the bike, painted, separated the fan. Fan's over there. So now I'm gonna tackle the clutch. So I got all the bolts out last night, and these are the bolts. So there are actually 3 longer ones. I didn't realize it last night, but there is. So 2 go here, and 1 goes over here. It's the 3 bottom ones. So let me put this in there so I know it, and then alright, we're gonna start doing this. And first thing you're gonna do is take these 6 10mm bolts out, and then this will drop this piece out, this spring plate, I guess is what it's called, and then this should come out, and then you'll have access to all of the clutch fibers and steel plates and the one big one. This stays on with this metal piece right here. So without further ado, I'm just gonna pop this all off and show you guys. I suggest leaving the bike in gear. Mom wouldn't go down in the first, so I put it down into second, or up into second more or less. Now this plate should bow out of the bike. So you take this out just like that, and it's got a bow to it. The bow goes out, and then this come out just like this, and this is captured inside of the pressure plate. Now this is just like a car, so just make sure that you put it back just like that. And that's your clutch basket with the fibers and the metals. So this is your first one. They don't look too bad, but they don't look too great. Actually, they look bad because there's barely anything for the fiber. So for the ado, I'll start pulling out the metals and fibers, and we'll get all the way back. There's a spring in here, looks like this, behind this fiber. Well, it's not a fiber, it's a steel. It actually sits in front of the steel. Now behind this, I'll be able to show you the groove in which it sits in. So this is one of the plates that holds in the last fiber, which is the bigger fiber. And this is the outside, so this one has to face towards you. We'll put that one over there because we need to reuse that. That spring sits on this groove back here. And it's right here, so you can see where the thing hits it. And that's where it's supposed to go into. So it sits on this groove, and then there's 2 holes right here on which it sits into. So you can see that underneath there, I think. Supposed to go into there. This is the last fiber, and it's thinner out of all of them. Barnett sells that in the thing, and this would be called friction plate B. And then there are 2 of these plates. This is the outer one, so this one goes in front of this one. This one sits back here. I've seen guys take it out. There's no reason to take that out. Just leave it in there. If I was you, that's what I would do. You guys can do whatever you want, but that's how I would do it. I'm gonna get the new fibers and steels, and I'm just gonna swap them all in. Mine have been soaking overnight. Always when you do a clutch, soak them overnight. So I'm gonna do that right now. Sit in there. Fiber back there. This is the outer one. All you gotta do is just push it in there like that. You should be good. Put the next steel on. All the steels are the same. Steel fiber, actually steel. And then you have to put the spring wire back on. And I bought a new one, so it should be like a lot easier to put it back in. Metals and fibers are in there. Now just got to rebuild the front of it. So this, always the teeth have to go to the back. I'm just going to put the 4X V up on the top if I can. Spin that just like that. You actually have to line the teeth up inside there. These teeth have to line in with the actual basket. So you want to hold this, make sure it's at the back, doesn't spin. Once it pops in like that, good. Bow goes out like that. And then got your little plate here with the 610 mils. Alright, so it's the next day. Moved the Boxster out. I couldn't set the clutch last night. I was just having an issue setting the where the actuator is for the clutch cable. Now, I wasn't getting the clutch snapping back, and you can actually see when I do that, the clutch plates are actually the pressure plate is actually engaging and disengaging. So, put the bike in gear, it'll have gears, you can't pull it across. My dad pulling in the clutch. Bike doesn't have a gear, it's got neutral. Let go of the clutch. Don't have any oil on the bike because I need to replace the oil pan because the last guy decided to strip, not the drain plug, the actual hole to the oil pan. So I bought a new oil pan, bought all the gaskets for stator cover, like I said, because I'm going to be painting them. Next on the list, start doing the radiator hoses. So this is your biggest one right here. And then all of your other ones are pretty much right here, connected to, I'm not sure if this is the water pump. I don't know. I know down here next to the oil filter is the oil cooler. So that's the next thing I'm gonna start on. I got a kit from China. So without further ado, let's move on.
All right, so I got most of the rad hoses done. This one, this one back here. You can't really see that. There's one way back there that I got done. It's right there. This one I ordered a new Yami one. That one didn't come in my kit. It's part of the water pump, but it should have came in a radiator kit. Didn't. Got them from China. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Came with this top one that should go to the like the vent tube of the radiator. It's like right at the cap. This one, that one, and there's one way back in there. I got plugs for the bike, so in order to do these top three, tank has to come out just like you're doing the plugs. I just figured when I was building my FZR, at least the radiator portion of the bike, you could see the spark plugs, and I didn't do them on that bike, but I'm like, this bike I want to do rad hose, or want to do spark plugs. So I'm starting to take the tank back off. You know, it was just off. I didn't have spark plugs, so, and I didn't have the hoses to do them yet. So, Allen key, I think this is a 10 millimeter. We're gonna take the tank off, and then we're gonna have to take the airbox off. So I'll take the tank off and show you guys how to do it. A bit of my bike, because these were not even tight, and I was able just to pull the airbox right off. And then this is the top. It's supposed to be pop pinned right to there, and it's not. So underneath here you got your coil pack, and they say just to unplug this, but you gotta find the plug. And then whenever you're working on carbs, just make sure to cover them so you don't get any dirt in them. Unplug this, and then you'll pull all four of the spark plug wires, and there should actually be numbered if they're the stock wires, I believe, anyway. All right, so I got, that was actually the thermostat. So I got the thermostat brought out of the bike instead of trying to do that in such a tiny spot. Not really worth it. So I actually took it out of the bike, did it on the floor. Old hose, old hose, old hose. That's the last of them. I'm all redone. These are Zaps, they're just Chinese stuff. So I know they made two $300 ones. These were 60 bucks. I just figured 60 bucks, they're silicone hoses. Don't need to spend 300 when I can spend 56. So I'm gonna throw this back in the bike, and we're gonna do the plugs and put the bike back together. I think got 2 out of the 4 done. Started off with cylinder 4. Now I'm on the 3. That should be plenty.
It's only 13 Newton pounds. Newton meters.
Next to cylinder 2.
Got all the way down?
Yep.
Broke free, didn't it?
It didn't. Jumped. That's how it broke free.
Plug's not bad.
Never hurts to change them.
Not bad.
So masked off just this side of the jug. The other jug you can't see from the actual frame because it's got that cutout, but this one you see in the fairing and it's all chipped up. Did the fender bolt. Dad's just shaking the can. We're just gonna lightly shoot this before we bring the boxer back in. And then really the last final touches on this bike while we're waiting for all the other parts. Unmasked all of it. Looks really good. This was a satin. Not sure if it should have been a flat, but it might just burn and cook off. But that's what it looks like. It looks almost like a gloss, but I guess it doesn't at the same time. So that's just painting the engine block. We're done for the night. Gonna re-detail spray down the tank, and then still cleaning up to get the boxer back in. We're gonna throw this outside for a couple minutes, bring the boxer and bring this back in, and be done for the night. And tomorrow I'll start at least assembling the radiator. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it on or I'll just keep it hung for ever long until I can get the headers done. I'm gonna actually do the headers probably tomorrow with the red scuff brake pad, and then just to kind of clean them up. All right, so it's been a little bit since I've given you guys an update on the R1. Still been attacking it every day, but it's the next weekend after we did the radiator hoses and the clutch, so I should be having the final radiator hose in by this Monday. I ordered all the gaskets. They still haven't come in yet. I got the new oil pan. I took the exhaust down, the full exhaust down, and this bike came equipped with what's called X-Up. That is over there on that trash can, and what you guys are staring at is the new block off plate, because this was so rusted it actually basically the bolts snapped inside, and they were so rusted that I could not get them out. It welded itself in there. So we were going to make a block off plate that just went in the screw holes, but that didn't seem to work. You cannot drill this, you can't tap this. It just doesn't want to go. I had to use a masonry concrete drill bit to actually drill through this. It doesn't cut whatsoever. So my next idea, before giving up, which we don't do much of that here, we keep going until we can make it work, at least try to make it work, was to take some steel that I had lying around, cut out well, first make a template. I had my dad help me make the template. I put the template on the steel, cut the steel out, and made the little bracket. So now tomorrow I'm going to weld that onto the exhaust, grind down my welds, and paint it. So leaving this titanium, going to paint this black, because obviously it's rusted, and if now I'm gonna have steel there, I want the metal to be not showing, so I will be painting this half of the exhaust black with some actual high temp header paint. But for now, that's all that's been done so far. Got the decals in for the tank and the rest of the fairings, so I'm probably gonna mount the fairings this weekend and do all the decals. But till tomorrow, that's where I am stopping for tonight. Just figured I'd pick up the camera and give you guys a little bit of an update. Alright, so it's the next day and I finished welding the exhaust, welding that plate onto it. Here's how it came out. I think it looks pretty good for welding the plate on that wasn't supposed to be there. And I'm going to paint this back piece over here black, and then these I'm going to polish really quick. So I'm going to take a red pad to them, see if I can't just get them to go really quickly up, because we started on this one. It seems like it came up pretty well, so see if I can't quickly do all 4 of these really quick. And then I have to go to the store for some header paint, because these are headers, and I'm gonna paint the bottom of this. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm probably just gonna clean this and then tape that off so that I don't get paint on that, so it still looks good. But this should have been probably black. Alright, so painted the exhaust. Actually I had my dad do it because he wanted to do it. So put the stator cover on with the new gasket, because all the gaskets came in now, so that's torqued down. Now we're gonna do the pickup coil cover, which is this one. I believe this is actually a metal gasket, because I got all Yamaha ones. I have the manual that we made open. This is the gasket. It looks to be metal, so obviously the guy not having a bolt in it, he was missing one up here. If it's metal, must have burned it, and they went shot. So I already did a clutch cover, stator cover one's done. I'm gonna do the timing chain one, and then we're gonna drop the oil pan, do the oil pan gasket, and put up the new oil pan because that one's stripped. Then fill the bike up with oil. Put the radiator in, so I'll probably do the radiator after that. And then do the exhaust. Gotta make sure the exhaust is up there before I put in the radiator. So I'm gonna do the pickup coil one next, and then we'll go to the bottom of the bike, do the oil pan. Alright, did the pickup coil cover / timing cover, whichever you want to call it. The stator cover or generator cover done, whichever one you want to call that one too. Underneath the bike, I got the light down here, and I just started the oil pan. And first bolt that was really hard to get out, I took it all the way out just to make sure I get it out. And it had some orange Loctite on it from the factory. Yami does that. So what the issue is with this is the drain plug down over here is completely stripped where it won't be able to torque down to its correct spec. So what I'm going to do is this drain plug looks nicer than the new one. I have both of them. I need my oil sending level light. That has to come out of this bike, so I already loosened that. There's a whole bunch of oil underneath here, which I don't know why. We're gonna do an oil pan gasket, new oil pan, new drain plug, obviously. So for right now, I'm starting to just crack them all the way around. Is the way I like to attack this, just to make sure that we can get all of them instead of taking out half of them and not being able to get out other ones. So I'm gonna go around, crack all of them, and I'll come back on once I got the actual pan dropped out of the bike. Alright, so I replaced the header gaskets. I put back on the headers. The piece I welded is over here. You can't even really tell that it wasn't supposed to be like that now. I torqued down the oil pan, so I did the oil pan with the gasket, cleaned the front of the block, torqued down the exhaust, torqued down the back of the exhaust. All that's left to start up, putting oil on the bike, putting the radiator on the bike, putting the back canister on the bike. I need an exhaust clamp for the back canister because the old one I had to cut off because the guy completely circled the Allen key in it. I'm starting to notice and I think realize that this whole bike is done in Allen keys just from the factory. Everything on this bike is Allen keys, and it seems like other R1s are Allen keys too, which is really cool because I like Allen keys on a bike, or anything really for that matter. I like the way it looks more racy and sleek. But so anyway, not to get sidetracked, whenever they circle the bolt, it's really hard to get it off. So what I had to do is take a cutoff wheel, and I just cut the clamp off. So now I need a new clamp. I'm gonna run the Harbor Freight in the morning. They have the exhaust clamp brackets there. I'm gonna run there, get them, come back, fit the rest of the exhaust. I'm gonna put it on tonight, and I guess I'll just leave it loose, or I'll just leave it off for a night and then put it on in the morning. I'm gonna put the radiator on next, get that all bolted in, throw oil in it tonight, and then be done for the night. There's the bike before the radiator goes in. My dad walks in. Whilst it's in the way of the light, I got... What the heck up? Well, I haven't cleaned the bottle yet on the radiator, but here's the radiator. I just wanted to get a shot of how good and semi-glossy, because it was semi-gloss paint, even though it looks super glossy, this radiator came out. I'm actually decently proud as it came into the light, minus just this slight fin damage. I couldn't really get the paint to cover just because of the way they're laying. But every other thing looks good. The radiator didn't leak. Let's hope it doesn't leak now when we fill it up with antifreeze later. But gonna put the radiator up in the bike.
Hey YouTube, look at a monkey playing with a football. Look at him, look at a monkey playing with a football.
It's not funny. Yeah, cough. This ain't working.
Look at the monkey. Monkey, 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 monkey.
Alright, so I got the bike to run, start, just put some fuel in it, and put the choke and fired right up. So, I'm gonna let it warm up for just a second. I don't have any coolant in the radiator, so I'm not gonna let it warm to the temp. Just gonna let it warm up, and then I'm gonna check the oil level, make sure it's up, and then this is with new spark plugs, all new gaskets, new oil, new clutch, make sure it's got a clutch. So I got all the panels put on the bike now. We're gonna lay down all the decals. So the two R1s on the side, there gets a Yami here, R1 up here, gets a Yamaha back here, and then it gets two white large Yamahas about here-ish on both sides. So I ended up going with a stainless steel bolt kit too. That's all switches it over to Allen's. So I put most of them in. Got to switch the fender still over. Here are the pieces I painted in the front too. So I actually color matched and painted the inners and the triangle. Same color when I did this Undertail. Painted the tank, painted this whole house right now. We're gonna lay down decals on it and make it basically complete, because right now it looks pretty much naked. So all right, so got this whole side completed. Now we threw the Yamaha down here, and there's a vent actually here, so I had to cut the A and the M apart and put it on the thing like that, so it just wraps in. It looks like it's crooked, but it's only just because the panel's wrapping down. Did the R1, the Yamaha, that is actually supposed to be there, which is really, it's a weird way it's done, but it actually draws your attention more to the bike. So this whole side of the bike now is done. Back on the back of the bike, this Yamaha, it's a little crooked. I think I can straighten it, but I'm not sure what I want to do yet with that, because I did order another set to get a bigger Yamaha like this, or a bigger R1 for up front, because these are the only other R1s they have, and they're really tiny, and I mean, I don't know, it looks okay, but I think the bigger R1 would look a little better. So that's the way it would look. It's just a tiny bit small, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm gonna keep rocking and rolling, put on the other white Yamaha, and then we'll update you some more. That's right. All right, YouTube. So the bike is burped. I don't know if I threw that up on camera or not, but the bike is burped. But what we found was the reason why this connector is disconnected. That goes to the fan thermostat switch. Now, the bike went all the way up to 230, 35, I think I let it go up to make sure the fan wasn't kicking on. It had blown a fuse. Now the fuse for that is underneath the seat. It had blew a fuse, and when I reconnected the fuse, we hit this with a paper clip, and it's just rubbing completely around the bracket where it's grabbing and catching, and it just does not sound good. So where it's banging, and it's actually banging the bracket, as you guys can see, as my finger is dragging. It's actually dragging against it right here. So I went and I ordered a used but new fan. It's basically looks brand new. So they do not sell the fan brand new for this bike, and I can't get one even aftermarket, so I had to go used. But just installed the brand new Yamaha. This isn't aftermarket. This is a Yamaha reservoir tank for the radiator. I call it an overflow bottle, but this was the old one. I didn't even try cleaning it. It was broken, cracked. Tried cleaning it, didn't work. So for $41, I believe, I got a brand new bottle, clear as clear can be. This is blue, which I normally never use, which is the antifreeze. This is Yamaha antifreeze. So that whole cooling system is now done. I'm just waiting until the fan gets here. I bolted down the seats. I got Yamaha bolts because mine were stripped out, and then I had to tap the holes with M6 by 100 tap. That is the size for the seat. I couldn't find that anywhere on the internet, but that is the size for the seat because those are stock Yamaha bolts. Nothing else really new for right now, just still waiting on some parts. So trying to find a seat cover. That is my next big thing. And then I got the decals for right here because I did the R1s and all that, as you guys saw. But I got the decal that says Delta box or X up and then Delta box that's supposed to go here. So I have that decal coming. So in my R1, the thermostat will kick the fan on at 212. Some guys it kicks on at around 220 to 230, no, to 220 to 225. So, but I just realized this is the new fan in there. I ran the bike up to 212, and I was getting a noise still, and that's probably why. That little piece up there that the fan has stopped on. So I'm gonna back the fan up a little bit, and I got my trusty tin snips, and we're just gonna snip that right off because it is also cutting into the radiator hose, and I don't want that radiator hose to drop onto the fan and get cut either. So gotta figure that one out really quick, how I'm gonna do that, and then just fire the bike back up, let the fan kick back on, and we'll see what happens. All right, so got the fan to work. As you guys saw, I reconnected the switch, which goes right here. I put, obviously, the body panels back on because you can see that. I put on this X-Up Delta box with the little V here, on here. On the actual 50th anniversary bike, this bike couldn't have been a 50th anniversary, I'm sure I've said it in this video, because it's a 99. So this would have said 50th anniversary, and on this bike it's gonna say X-Up Delta box with the little V thing there, because I believe this frame is actually a Delta box, and as you guys saw, I did take out the X-Up, but bike should have had X-Up in it. So all right, YouTube, so that was my video on doing a 99 4VX R1, and here it is, completely done. Now, all the stuff we did to it: changed the bars, ASV levers, bar ends, grips. I did an Öhlins 68mm steering dampener. I still haven't got the seat done yet because I just cannot find the seat that I really like. So that once I get a seat, I'll pop a video up for you guys. Painted the tank, painted the solo cowl to match, painted these faux carbon fiber pieces. Now I am going to be getting a carbon fiber chain guard and the carbon fiber air ducts up there, real ones. I changed the exhaust because I rode the bike once and hated the universal pipe that was on it. It was just not a good pipe. You'd come off on a decel and it would just bang and pop, and yeah, it sounds cool, but I'd rather not blow a diaphragm. So did the Del Cavic, did the Undertail, and I painted mine black instead of body color. Now that's got integrated taillights in it. Bike already had a gold chain on it. The rotors, that was a big change to the bike. Stainless steel lines. We did the calipers, painted them black with the gold inserts. Radiator hoses, painted the radiator, changed the fan, painted cases, basically did the whole 9. Oil pan gasket, oil pan, all the gaskets on the bike. Clean, just buffed all the fairings, and then I painted the triple tree. So I'll let you guys hear the bike. This is on a cold start. Bike runs great. This is with the new Del Cavic, and that's with the mid pipe, and it's a carbon fiber can. It's also got the LED blinkers. I never showed you guys those in the video, but they all work. See them in the back. So bike's dialed in. Rode about almost 100 miles already. I love it. It's a badass bike to have. So I'm glad that I own it. Glad to have built it and shown you guys along. So, as usual, give us a big thumbs up, like, subscribe. Keep watching for all our other videos.